Hi, how's it going? My name is Maria, and I am 1/3 of the Girl Pal Galaxy, and this is the 4th time I'm trying to record this video. Welcome to our channel. So, I've been a personal fan of 21 Pilots for a couple years now, and if you guys don't know who that is, they are a duo from Columbus, Ohio, named Tyler Joseph and Joshua Dunn, and I noticed something when I was listening to the music. Now, I listen to the music a lot, but to kind of get into why I did this experiment and like why I wanted to make this video, you need a little bit of background information. So 21 Pilots started in 2009. They weren't signed until 2012 to Fuel by Ramen, which has like Paramore, Panic at the Disco, that type of crew. Now, before they got signed, they released 2 albums on their own. They released 21 Pilots, which I'll be calling self-titled from here on out, and then Regional at Best. And they released self-titled in 2009, Regional at Best in 2011. Now, Tyler Joseph, who's the lead singer and he writes all the music, does all the production, he actually released his own like solo album when he was like 18 back in 2007, just like from his basement, that sort of thing. And that was called No Fun Intended. Now, in 2012, when they got signed to Fuel by Ramen, they went to LA to record their first album called Vessel, which was released in January 2013. Now, the interesting thing to know about Vessel is that Vessel was actually kind of like a remake of Regional at Best, I think is the best way to say it. Basically, Tyler has said that Regional at Best was a bit of a mixtape to show their different kind of genres that they kind of span, which is what they're known for. And he actually took like 6 songs from Regional at Best, re-recorded them, put them on Vessel, and then filled the rest of the album with 6 new original songs. Now on Spotify, the only album available from their self-released material is self-titled. This makes sense to me. Regional at Best, it has those 6 original songs. You don't really want that compared to like the new versions that you've done on them. However, there are 6 great songs that you kind of have to go digging on the internet to find, like Kitchen Sink and Forest, which are my personal favorites. Now, the interesting thing is, again, I mentioned No Fun Intended. No Fun Intended sounds like an 18-year-old recorded and mixed it himself in his parents' basement. That makes sense. And then you go to self-titled. Great album. Sonically, really professionally done. It sounds fantastic. You're like, oh wow, he really learned how to produce his own music. This is incredible. But then you go to Regional at Best. And Regional at Best sounds more like No Fun Intended than it does self-titled, which I think is interesting. And this is where my thought experiment, my hypothesis came about. How can someone get better at production for self-titled and then somehow worse at production for Regional at Best? Not that Regional at Best isn't bad. It's a great album. I love it. But it still sounds like it was done in his basement. It doesn't sound as professional as self-titled. So I came up with an experiment. So like I said, I'm a big fan of 21 Pilots. So is my sister Grace and my sister Joy. However, Joy has not listened to 21 Pilots' old stuff really at all. She knows like Johnny Boy and Kitchen Sink and Forest, that sort of thing, but she really hasn't listened to all of their old stuff. So she was actually the perfect candidate to do this experiment. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to play her a song from self-titled and a song of Regional at Best back to back, and then ask her kind of what order she would put them in. I did kind of cheat a little bit. I did Regional at Best first and then self-titled. It kind of fit more of my experiment because in my mind, sonically, the production does evolve further from Regional at Best to self-titled, and that's kind of what I wanted to prove. If that doesn't taint my experiment, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, so it went well. Here's the footage of how it went. And so I played her Anathema from Regional at Best, and then I played her Before You Start Your Day from self-titled. And I just wanted her feedback, and I kind of wanted to just talk to her as someone who had never listened to these songs before. So here's how it went. Thanks, Maria. I'm here at a secret location. I'm with our top secret experiment applicant. Due to privacy, we're actually going to be keeping her name private. So Joy, I have a series of questions to ask you before we get into our experiment. Thank you for being a part of the first ever Maria's musical experiments.
Not sure I had a choice. I was thrown into a back of a car, but let's go with it.
You haven't run away yet.
Sure, she has you there.
So out of 1 to 10, how would you rate your knowledge of 21 Pilots' early work?
0.
Okay, that's a good. And out of 1 to 10, how would you rate your knowledge of music production as a whole?
0.
Okay. Out of 1 out of 10, how would you rate your knowledge of, or just appreciation of music?
Probably a 7.
Okay, that sounds good. So what I want to show here today, people, is that she listens to music, but she has no knowledge of 21 Pilots' early work, and that's really what I needed for this experiment. Someone who is completely unbiased and doesn't have any of the information that would trigger whether or not one song was from one album, one was from the other. So do you know what we're doing today, Joy?
No.
Okay, so to sum up the experiment, I believe that 21 Pilots' first album was mastered after their second album, and I believe that you can hear it. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be playing you 2 songs. One is going to be from the first album, and one's going to be from their second album. Both of these albums were self-released, self-produced. But I believe that the first album was remixed and remastered when they released Vessel.
Okay.
And I believe that you can hear it. So, because you have no knowledge of their early work, I believe that you will be able to hear it. Does that make sense?
Okay, so you won't tell me which one you're playing?
Nope. So I'm not even going to tell you the name, the title, anything like that. I'm not going to tell you what album it is from. I'm just going to ask you a series of questions after you've listened to the music on noise-canceling headphones. I do want to go over, can you name any songs from their first album?
I think there's one about Taco Bell.
That's way earlier.
Then no.
No? Yeah, I know you know Johnny Boy.
Is Starcatcher one?
Earcatcher.
Aircatcher.
Prime candidate.
Josh would be so ashamed.
Anything from their second album? I know you know Kitchen Sink and Forest, but is there anything else that you are aware of from their second album?
No.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to be put on these headphones. I will be putting a snippet of the song right here. So this is our first song. Playing her about 30 to 45 seconds of each song. The intro, I feel like these 2 songs that'll be on the screen perfectly coincide, and their sounds are very similar, but the production quality is vastly different. I believe that you can hear it. Alrighty, so that was song number 1.
Okay.
And what I really want you to listen to is the production and his vocals primarily too. That's also going to really tell you where he is in his vocal journey, but the lyrics aren't as important in this challenge, so just relax. And I feel like my hair looks stupid. Okay. Alright, this is the second song. Okay. So let's do initial reactions. What did you think about the song?
Really pretty.
Yeah? Yeah. What about the first one? What was your takeaway?
I liked it. It's very much a 21 Pilots sound with the little clinky clinks.
Exactly, yeah.
And
And the second song?
It was beautiful. Like, the piano was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He always does a really good job. I'm also not a music buff.
No,
so
I mean,
that's all I got.
that's good enough. That's good enough. So, if everything I said before you listened to it, if you had to place those in chronological order, which one would go first?
I'd do it in the way you played them for me.
Interesting. So, great. That proves my point. I played her Anathema from Regional at Best first, and then I played you Before You Start Your Day from self-titled second. So, Before You Start Your Day, which is the second song you learned, is from their first album, which was supposedly released in 2009 and completely self-produced.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
But as you can hear from the quality, it doesn't make sense.
Different, yeah.
It would seem that he had gotten worse somehow at production between those 2 albums, but then Vessel is pretty much on par with with Before You Start Your Day. So really, when you think about it logically, it doesn't make sense. Thank you so much for being a part of this experiment. I'm really glad you were able to join us here tonight. There will be a band waiting for you. We will need to cover your head once again.
It's fine. I'm used to it.
But don't expect any compensation. Thank you so much, Joy. Thanks, Past Maria. Watch out for the pandemic, because that's a thing that's coming your way real soon. Alright, so that's how it went. And as you can see, she agreed with what my hypothesis was. So I think by the scientific method, I think is what's called, this hypothesis can now become a theory. So my theory is that when 21 Pilots was in LA recording Vessel, that they took self-titled and they basically remastered or reproduced it. So when they released Vessel, they would have a second album to also put on Spotify. Basically, is my hypothesis. They didn't want to just put their original work, their original self-titled album out there. It wouldn't sound very cohesive with Vessel sonically because it was produced in someone's basement. So my guess, this is my theory, is that they remastered and reproduced self-titled to put out on Spotify when they released Vessel. Let me know what you guys think. Am I completely crazy? Was this a waste of my time? Maybe. Probably. Yeah. Was this a waste of your time? Definitely. Okay, well, I got this filmed and I'm proud of myself, so you guys have a good day.